Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Kaylee and this is my book. So today's video is actually due to a couple of requests that I got. I will be rereading Ninth House. My plan was always to reread Ninth House before Hellbent came out because I read Ninth House way back when it was first released like 3 years ago, and I read it in one evening. And it was not really an evening, it was really like early morning because I picked this up I think at like midnight, and I intended to read the first chapter and then I blinked and suddenly it was 5 in the morning and I had finished the book. So I loved this book, but it also feels a little bit like a fever dream. I don't remember anything from it. It was a very fun time, but the memories, they're not there. The only thing I remember from this book is having positive emotions associated with it. So I really want to read Hellbent since I love this book so much, but I definitely need to reread this book before I can read the sequel of Hellbent. And because this book came out fairly long ago, there are quite a lot of people that are also thinking about rereading this book before Hellbent, but there's also quite a lot of people that don't want to have to reread this book before Hellbent, and that's where the request came in. So a lot of people were requesting me to make a summary for this book, that way they didn't have to reread it after I was done rereading it, and then it evolved into me making a full video reading vlog with spoilers for this book. So this is a video that is meant to give you a full summary of Ninth House, but I'm doing it in a vlog style. So I plan to check in about every 50 pages and let you know the major events that have happened in those 50 pages, and just like let you know how my reading experience is going with Ninth House thus far. So it's going to be a reading vlog where I just read this book, but it's also going to serve as a full summary for this book, which means this video is full of spoilers. This is meant for people that have already read Ninth House and need a little refresher before they go into Hellbent. Of course, you're welcome to watch this video if you haven't read Ninth House, but I just want you to know going into it, there will be full spoilers for like every important thing in Ninth House. This video is a new format style for me. I've never done a video like this, so if you end up enjoying this video, make sure to let me know in the comments, and maybe I can do this style of a video for other future popular books that get sequels. But for now, I'm going to send you back in time to this morning when I first started Ninth House. Hello and welcome to my bathroom. So it is 12 o'clock right now, and I wanted to update you because I did read the first 42 pages of Ninth House. As I'm updating you though, I'm just going to continue to get ready because my sprints start in less than 30 minutes now, and so we need to look a little bit more presentable. But I figured it was a good time to update you because the first 42 pages are basically just the first 2 chapters of the book, and the first 2 chapters show us the 2 different point of views that the book have. So after that initial prologue, we move back from spring when the prologue was set to winter. So we're shifting back in time, but not a huge amount of back in time. And this chapter is all told in Alex's point of view. And Alex, whose full name is Galaxy Stern, and she is making her way from the dorms at Yale to this weird secret meeting, and she's kind of vague about what's going on. And then at the meeting, on stage, like there's a big audience, it's in a lecture hall room, and on stage of the lecture hall, there is a man taking apart some dude named Michael's stomach and looking at a small intestine. And he's alive. This is not a dead body. He is alive. And they're doing that to be able to tell the future. The people who do this are a group of students, part of this society on campus called Bonesmen. And the Bonesmen take people off the streets, usually people without homes that don't have a lot of people to advocate for them, and take them from the hospital and put them on stage to rip open their stomachs and read their innards to tell the future. And it's just used as a way to help the rich people stay rich, basically, like what stocks they should invest in, that sort of stuff. So pretty horrific, pretty gruesome, and Alex is there because she is supposed to help make sure the boundary stays secure. And basically there's a boundary around this ritual to make sure these things called grays don't come in, and grays are ghosts. And the reason why Alex is involved in all of this, we find out, is because Alex can see the grays in like full color without any issues, where normally no one can see the grays. And the only way you can see them is to take this really dangerous, rare elixir to be able to drink it and then see them in gray color. But during the ritual, the Greys start acting really weird, and normally they're very docile and they don't have much of an issue, and Alex is almost there more of as a formality. But during this ritual, the Greys start acting really weird and creepy, and they start like screaming and moving, and then Alex feels like a big boom from the other side. And so she starts freaking out, but no one else knows what's going on because no one else can see the Greys or hear like what's going on the other side. And so they all think she's just drunk, and they're like, what the hell? And as things seemingly are about to climax, where this big monster is going to make its way over from the other side into the ritual area, it stops. And Alex throws up, and she's like, what the hell was that? Oh, and during the first chapter, we know that Alex has had a mentor named Darlington who has told her all about this world because she's very new to this world. She got recruited in because of her ability to see the Greys. He was another student though. It's not like he's some old guy or anything, but he's the one that has shown her all about this world and taught her everything she knows about the world. But he is missing. He is not there. So she kind of mentions when this big monster is seemingly about to pass over, she's like, what the hell, Darlington? Like, where are you? I need you now. You never taught me how to deal with this, but no one knows where you are. What's going on? And then the second chapter is Darlington's point of view from last fall. So we're moving back in time even more. And it's just about Darlington and how he was supposed to be able to choose his own Dante, which is another word for mentee. And he was going through applications, really excited about it. But then basically the council got word of Alex's ability and they forced Dante to choose Alex. But also important to note is that all of these people are current college students at Yale. These are not older people. These are college students that are going to Yale. Like, Alex lives in a dorm with random other people, not just people from this magic secret society. And there are lots of secret societies at Yale, but basically the only ones that like super matter in this book, the only really powerful ones are the 8 ancient houses, including Lethe House. Is it living up to the hype that I created in my head because I loved it the first time around and have no memory of it? Yes, I am loving it so far once again. I love how gruesome this fantasy is. I mean, looking through a person's small intestine to be able to tell a rich person what stock to invest in is wild and horrific, and I love it. I really like Alex's character so far. I mean, she's already proven her strength when she gets inducted to this crazy new world, and she's holding her own. Like, even in Darlington's chapter, which is the beginning of Alex's like knowledge of this whole other secret universe, she is still like kind of sassy, and like she swindles $300 out of Darlington. I'm like, hell yeah, Alex, you go, girl. I'm excited to keep reading to find out like what the heck happens to Darlington and why he is missing in the wintertime. So I'm just gonna brush my hair out and then go start sprints, and I will check in once I get about another 50 pages in. So I'm aiming for around page 90 or 100 for another check-in. Hello, I am updating because I got to page 94 of Ninth House, and that is the first 5 chapters. And I wanted to clarify a couple things because I was wrong when talking about it at first, which just shows you how little I remember from my first read through that I misinterpreted something. Alex is not part of the Bonesmen. Lethe House is actually a part of this magic secret society that isn't a part of any of the 8 houses, 8 tombs, 8 types of magic, Bonesmen being one type. The Lethe House is actually almost like a police for all of the different secret societies. So she is kind of overseeing all of the different societies' rituals and just making sure that nothing is going wrong, that they aren't crossing any boundaries between the secret societies and the real world, and just making sure that everyone is following the rules. Hence why she was there at the Bonesmen's ritual where they're opening up that person's stomach just to make sure that they followed the rules. And so a couple more things have happened in these last 50 pages. There's a woman who was murdered named Tara. She was a townie, so not involved with Yale. She just lived in the area, and she was stabbed to death, but Alex goes to check it out because it happened on Thursday night, and Thursday night is the night of rituals for all of the secret societies. So she is concerned that it had something to do with a ritual, and she finds out that the woman died right around the same time as all the grays were starting to act really weird, and it seemed like there was a monster on the other side. And so even though it seems like the police think it has nothing to do with the secret societies, they think it was just the woman's boyfriend who killed her. They were both users. And so Alex sees herself in this girl because she also used to be addicted to drugs, and this woman is addicted to drugs. Basically, no one is too concerned about Tara, but Alex has a little inkling that she should be concerned about Tara, and maybe Tara's murder has something to do with these secret societies. We also get a bit of backstory for Alex. We learn that she's been seeing ghosts ever since she was a child, how Alex grew up in a really poor family, so she's not used to having 3 hot meals a day, and she's very much taking advantage of the access to these 3 hot meals a day at Yale University. There seems to be a lot more in the backstory of the overdose because her friend died, and she sees her friend in Tara's murder as well because they were both blonde. Her friend Helly is the one who died before Alex went to Yale. And it is deemed an overdose, but it seems like something weird was going on because Alex keeps having these flashbacks and there seems like there's a lot of blood. We don't know what's going on with that yet, but it just seems like there's more to Helly's death than Alex is currently telling us. But yeah, that's basically all the important points of these next 100 pages. Again, I'm on page 95 right now, so I'll check in when I'm around page 150. Okay, it's only been 15 pages, but I have to update again because we just got another ritual scene and I was waiting for the rituals, like I said in the last update. And so basically this was the ritual of the Aurelian house, and the Aurelians don't have a tomb, so they're not taken as seriously as the other houses that have tombs, the other secret societies that have tombs, but they still do their rituals and everything. They're just a little bit lesser than, for example, the Bonesmen. And so the Aurelians specialize in forged documents or contracts or anything written, basically. And so they were doing a ritual for this man who published a book 8 years ago that took the New York literary scene by storm, and it was amazing, but then he hasn't been able to publish a book since. This was a ritual to get him to be able to write a new book, and it involved him sitting in a bunch of blood and then a bunch of ink going inside of him, and now he's possessed by the ink and he can write in a book, and it was very creepy and cool. But during this ritual, the Greys, this is in the past, so this was when Darlington was still there, not missing yet, and Darlington and Alex were at the ritual together trying to make sure that the Greys didn't interrupt anything. Alex accidentally scuffed one edge of the boundary. It's a written boundary on the floor, and she scuffed an edge which left a big hole for all of the Greys to get through. And so it was very dramatic where Alex and Darlington were having to fight against the Greys to make sure they didn't interrupt the ritual. But of course, no one in the ritual even knew what was happening. Basically, it was very, very dramatic, but they were able to get the Greys back thanks to Alex spouting a bunch of stuff about death, because the way you repel the Greys, the ghosts, is by talking about death or throwing graveyard dirt at them, because they are drawn to life, hence why the blood in the tub that the author was sitting in called so many. Alex got pissed off in the scene too, because she's realizing how easy it is to repel the Greys. She's been plagued by these ghosts her entire life, and it's really messed up her childhood. But all you have to do is talk about death to get them to go away, and so she's pissed that everyone at Yale involved in the secret society, everyone at the Lethe house, knew about her from a kid and were watching her to recruit her into the society once she got older, but no one helped her as a kid to figure out how to get the ghosts to go away. And she's pissed at Darlington, saying you guys, all you had to do was, when I was 10 and first seeing these ghosts, tell me to stock up on graveyard dirt, and no one helped me. And so he had this realization that this society he's thought is the good guys for so long, he's the golden boy of this society. He's realizing, oh crap, we messed up there. And so they're currently breaking a lot of expensive stuff that the Lethe house owns. And it's just sweet and nice. And I am a big fan of their character development, both of them so far. Darlington realizing that this society is potentially problematic, and Alex finding power within herself and being able to thrive within this new world and challenge this new world. Okay, I'll check in a bit. I'm checking in front of my very overly full TBR bookshelf, but I wanted to let you all know that I got to page 162, which is to chapter 10 of the book. We got more information about Alex's backstory as a child, and it was horrifically sad. And Trigger warning for what I'm about to say involving SA. But when Alex was 12 years old, she was raped by a ghost, like by a gray. Of course, this gave her a huge trauma, but no one believed her for what was going on because people don't believe in ghosts. It was at the time she started her period when she was 12, and of course, blood attracts ghosts to you. And this was also the first time that a ghost was able to touch her. So it was completely jarring for Alex because, of course, the trauma of being raped, but then also this new knowledge that all of these ghosts that she's been seeing her whole life are suddenly threats. And so she's feeling unsafe everywhere. Her body doesn't feel like her own. And because of this trauma and her inability to talk to anyone about it, she becomes an outcast at school, and she gets recruited by these kids who are much, much older than her. She's only 12 at this point. She gets recruited by these seniors in high school, and they have her try weed. And she realizes when she smokes weed, she can't see the ghosts anymore. So that's what leads to her eventually becoming addicted to drugs. And it just kind of flash forwards across a couple of years. She's groomed by this older senior in high school when she's 12, and they eventually have a physical relationship when she is 15. She drops out of school. She has lots of issues with her mom. She becomes isolated from everyone, and it's just a really downward spiral of Alex's life, all because the drugs are the only thing that can take away this huge threat of the ghost that she is able to see. And then flashing forward to present day, Alex goes to the morgue to check the body of Tara, the woman who was killed. Everyone believes was just killed by her boyfriend. They were both drug users, and so no one is looking into it too closely. She is able, through some magic, a little ritual she does on the body, to see Tara's last moments, and it is in fact the boyfriend that kills her, but they were both high and hallucinating on this drug that Alex has never seen before. And she thinks that it is a magic drug, and she thinks this is connected to these magic societies that she's supposed to oversee at Yale. And then when she's walking out the next day, she gets attacked by this monster, similar to a gray, but it's not a gray, it's something much more sinister. And it attacks her and puts corpse beetles into her, which start eating her from the inside out. And she's literally vomiting bugs. It's horrific, terrifying, disgusting, so scary. And she is saved by the graduate student that is involved with Lethe House called Dawes, and that's where we've just ended up. Dawes gives her a potion to drink to get the bugs out of her system. Also, side note, I know I keep mentioning Darlington being missing, but I think I've neglected to mention that while Alex knows he's missing and the Lethe House knows he's missing, they're keeping it a secret. So the other societies think that he's just studying abroad. She keeps saying that Darlington is in Spain. So I'm gonna keep reading. I'll check in once I pass the 200-page mark. I'm checking in early. I'm only on page 182, but we were just introduced to a new house, and I just love all the introductions to all the different houses, the different societies, and so I wanted to talk about it now. The house we were just introduced to was Manuscript. This was done through Darlington's chapter, so this was the chapters that are set a little bit in the past when he's still showing Alex around before he disappears. And so they go to Manuscript, and Manuscript is a house that's all about altering someone's own perception and manipulating people and things like that. And it says like they had an incident in the 80s, which was crazy. Accidentally convinced a woman that she was a tiger, and that's permanent. So it like can totally mess with your mind and everything. And then they're doing a ritual, which is why Alex and Darlington are there right now, because they're overseeing it, where they're just getting up power for the house. And part of the way they do that is through excess. So they do very extravagant parties. In like one room, there's just a giant orgy happening. So it's like a sexy house that you can lose yourself in by accident. It actually reminds me a lot of like the Fae in different fantasy stories. I mean, they're all humans in this house, but it's similar to Fae, like be careful what you eat in that house, be careful what you drink in that house. And there's actually like a bit of romantic tension between Darlington and Alex, because Darlington walks through this mist that basically, for lack of a better word, makes him really, really horny, and he tries to get with Alex, and Alex is basically like, come on, Darlington, hold it together. And then afterwards, when he sobers up, he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Alex. Like, if you never want to work with me again, that's fine. And Alex is like, stop. I want to work with you again. Because Alex secretly liked it a little bit. And so that was just a fun scene to read about because Alex and Darlington do like each other. And we know from the present point of view of Alex when Darlington's missing, she mentions like missing having him wrapped around her in bed and stuff like that. So in this past chapter, it seemed like that was the first moment of Darlington realizing like, oh, does he like Alex? And Alex realizing, oh, does she like Darlington? So that was just fun. But I'm only on page 180. I'm gonna keep reading. I just had to talk about the house. Hello, checking in because I'm on page 250 of Ninth House, which puts me over halfway. So I only have 200 pages left. And to update you on what's going on in Ninth House, I feel like I'm on like a TV show and here's what you missed last week on Ninth House. Basically, the dean that's in charge of Lethe House came to check on Alex after she was attacked by that monster and had those horrible bugs inside of her. And there was a lot of tension between him and Dawes, the graduate student part of Lethe House, because he was basically blaming Alex and Dawes was like, dude, you're victim shaming her, that's messed up. So basically the dean is kind of weird, kind of suspicious in this moment. Like he was supporting Alex, but not really supporting Alex, you know what I mean? And so Alex decides that, you know, her being attacked is proof that something else is going on with Tara's death and she should be investigating this. So she decides to call the help of the ghosts because the Greys seem like they know what's going on. You know, they had that weird reaction during the ritual when Tara was murdered. And then when Alex was attacked, her life was actually saved by one of the Greys. And so she does a ritual with Dawes where she literally has to like go in between life and death. So she drowns herself, or Dawes drowns Alex, so that Alex can communicate with the Greys. And she communicates with the specific Grey that saved her, which is known in lore to be this man who killed his bride. But he says he didn't do it, and he says he's going to help her figure out what happened to Tara and help her figure out where Darlington went, because he says Darlington is not on this side, if she is able to figure out who killed his wife and who killed him and basically clear his name. So then Alex needs to go talk to the police that is working with Lethe House, because basically Lethe House has one police officer that is with them to handle any crime-related things that happen to the secret societies. But the police officer is like really annoying, and he basically gets super annoyed anytime he has to deal with Alex. And he doesn't believe that the Tara's death is really related to anything other than her and her boyfriend's drug use. So Alex has to bamboozle her way through his defenses and basically manipulate him into giving away information. And she successfully does that and finds out where Tara's house is so that she can go and get something that belonged to Tara. That way she is better able to use the ghost services and figure out what happened, what actually is going on with Tara. But meanwhile, she was supposed to meet on the night that she got attacked, her friend, her roommate, who has nothing to do with the Magic Society, at a party because it was Halloween night. But she never met her friend because obviously she was attacked. She was dealing with a lot, and she feels really bad because there's now a video going around where her friend has been drugged by this magical drug that Alex knows about because her tongue was purple. And that's what the House of Manuscripts, the house that can manipulate everyone and the house that had the big magic sex orgy, that's what they use on willing participants, supposed to be willing participants, use the drug, turns their tongues purple, and they can be controlled by anyone. But in this video, her roommate, Mercy, is being raped by two guys, but she can't do anything about it because in the video it shows her consenting, but she's only consenting because of the drug that she ingested. But the drug is a magic drug, so they can't find trace of it anywhere in her, you know? So Alex is now at the House of Manuscript basically saying like, where the hell are you guys putting your drugs? Because these people are getting it, these non-magical people are getting it and raping people, and she's just going on a mission to avenge what happened to her roommate. So far so good. I only have 200 pages to go. I'll check in a little bit. Quick early update because I'm only on page 270, so it's only been 20 pages, but I'm obsessed with what I just read. So basically there was the video of Alex's roommate being raped by two guys that was initially like making the rounds of being sent out through messages and ruining Mercy's life. But Alex was able to go and ask the house of what that produces the drugs, like how did you get these drugs, and they don't know what happened, but they're gonna help her out with a ritual to stop the spread of this video. And then they gave Alex this drug to make her really, really convincing for 40 minutes. So then she goes to the frat house that has the guys that raped her roommate, and she is very, very convincing. So she asks for their phones and she deletes the videos off of all of their phones. It doesn't stop it entirely, hence the need for the ritual, because they've already sent it to some other people. But the ritual does stop it from being spread further. And then she, as payback for the main guy that initiated the rape, takes a video of her convincing him to eat his shit, his poop. He eats poop on a video. And she takes a video of it. She's not anywhere in the video, and sends it to all of his contacts from his phone. And so that's the video that is currently going viral at Yale right now, and no one even knows about the other video of Mercy's sexual assault happening on camera. Then Alex goes to breakfast with Mercy, her roommate that was sexually assaulted, along with her other roommate. And they kind of know, because Alex is like, I'm gonna go take care of this. And they're like, how did you do this? Like, what is going on? And so there's like the first inklings that like Alex is kind of magical, like involved in something weird going on at the society, at the college. I'm obsessed with what I just read. So good. And the roommate that Alex's friend is really happy with what Alex did. So it's good to see her like overcoming this. And I really like these 20 pages. I had to check in because I'm like, oh my god, this book is crazy. Hello, I am updating in front of my bookshelves this time because I got to page 250 in Ninth House, so a bit of a longer section than I just read, but I could not put it down. I mean, I'm just obsessed with this book. I'm having such a good time with this reread. I love it so freaking much. It's so much fun to read. And basically in this section we got a lot more story about Alex's backstory, a lot more information about Alex's backstory, and it's brutal. So basically Alex, as a young adult, has been in this group with a boy that groomed her when she was 12 years old, and then started the physical relationship with her when she was 15. His name is Len. And so she is in this group with Len, a guy called Betcha, and then Helly, who is her female friend, and they're very, very close. It's like a sister relationship. And a dangerous guy came into town, and basically Len and Betcha throw Helly and Alex to the wolves with this dangerous guy because they want benefits of providing this dangerous guy with women. And basically the dangerous guy called Ariel ends up killing Helly through a forced overdose. And Alex wakes up to what she thinks is Helly lying next to her, but really it's Helly's ghost, because of course Alex can see ghosts. Ariel thinks it's funny that he killed Helly, and Len and Betcha are just trying to cover up the murder of Helly. And Alex gets pissed, and then she lets Helly's ghost into her body, and Alex / Helly, the combo of them two, pick up a bat and brutally kill all of the men in that house. And then Helly helps Alex cover up the blood that's on her and cover up the crime. And so the police have no idea how all these men die, and they think Alex was just a victim and almost overdosed herself next to Helly. So that's Alex's backstory. And basically Darlington in the future, but not in the present timeline, but before Darlington goes missing, Darlington finds this out, and he tells Alex that he needs to tell the dean about Alex's experience with murder, because he finds out that Alex is essentially a murderer. But then at that moment, Darlington gets sucked into a portal, and we find out Alex does nothing to help him because Alex sees this as her out from not being outed as a murderer to the Lethe house. And so she's not the one that forces Darlington to go missing because she didn't create the portal, but she also doesn't help Darlington, which is why she feels guilty over Darlington's disappearance. So basically we find out that Darlington has been sucked into this portal, and he's not dead, but he's also just been sucked into nowhere. So he's essentially nothing now. And then in the most present timeline, Alex goes to Tara's house to get something that Tara cares about to give to the ghost that she is working with. The ghost name is North. But at that house, she gets attacked by Tara's boyfriend, who is supposed to be in jail. And the police that works with Lethe House, his name is Turner, kind of walks in on Alex getting beat up and almost murdered by Tara's boyfriend, who he just left in a cell. And then he sees him disappear through portal magic. So while this policeman, Turner, has known about magic. He's never seen it before, and suddenly he's taking Alex way more seriously. And now we have the team of Roger, Alex, North the ghost, and the graduate student that works with Lethe House, all working together trying to figure out how and why Tara and her boyfriend were involved with dealing these magical drugs, and who in the society is responsible with helping them deal these magical drugs, and who is trying to kill Alex and who killed Tara. Oh, we also got more backstory on the ghost North. So he is a ghost from like 100 years ago or 200 years ago, and he has been accused of murdering his fiance and then himself. But then we find out that actually he was abducted by the Bonesmen and cut open, and they read his intestines to be able to tell the future and have some prophecies. But during that process, he gets possessed by a different ghost who actually died during the Bonesman ritual. And so he goes back. He does not die during the Bonesman ritual, but he's been possessed by this ghost who is angry. And when the ghost that is possessing North sees Daisy, which is North's fiance, he freaks out and kills Daisy and then kills himself. That way he doesn't have to be cut open again. So very tragic, but another death that is directly linked to these magical societies. I just got to page 400, so I have read 50 more pages since the last check-in, and I only have 50 pages to go, and so much has happened that I need to check in now so I don't forget to let you know what has just gone on in the last 50 pages. These were super action-packed. Through Alex investigating the greenhouse where the drugs are grown, she realized that Tara worked there, and she was actually the one creating these new magical drugs and distributing them, which is how Blake got his hands on them, because Tara gave some to her boyfriend Lance, but they were not involved in the magical community, and Lance tried them and he didn't feel like he got high from them because it was just a compulsion drug and no one was compelling him to do anything when he took it. And so he sold it to Blake, which is the rapist of Mercy, who is Alex's roommate. And Blake is a serial rapist, and he's been using these drugs. So basically, he tried the drugs out on a woman at a party, realized that if a woman takes these drugs, he can make her do anything. And suddenly Tara and Lance have this booming market to sell this compulsion drug that she found in the greenhouse. And she starts making other drugs and starts selling them to people in the houses, like in the magical houses, including Colin and Kate. And they are from House Lock and Key and Manuscript House, which are two of the most powerful houses. It's revealed that Colin and Kate and their houses have been trying to kill Alex because they don't want to be outed as experimenting with these other drugs that Tara has created. But it wasn't them who killed Tara, it was actually Blake who killed Tara. Blake is a psychopath, a serial rapist. Alex seems to think that he probably tried to give Tara the drugs, but of course Tara knows what the drugs do and fought back, and then Blake killed Tara. But this is all realized in a very explosive climax when Blake is taking the drug, so he has the ability to compel people. It's the same drug that Alex took that she was able to compel Blake to eat poop, and so he has now like a magic voice, and he came to Lethe House and tried to kill Alex, Dawes, and the Dean, who are all there at Lethe House. And they all get horrifically injured, but Alex is able to call the jackals, which are these dogs, to come and kill Blake. So they make it out alive, but they're all in the hospital, and they all meet afterwards, like the entire Lethe House, except for Darlington, of course. They basically know everything that's going on now, except they can't do anything about it because Colin and Kate, their houses are too powerful and they can't take down the houses, so they're just gonna get away with it. They're gonna get fined, even though they were trying to kill Alex, and a bunch of women got raped because of their actions. And that's it. It's like a really sad last 50 pages. Oh, and important in these 50 pages, they tried to do the ceremony to call Darlington back from the portal that he got lost in, but during the ceremony they realized that it wasn't a portal he got lost in, it was a mouth he stepped into, and it was a hellhound, because the hellhound comes through when they try to call Darlington, and that means that Darlington was consumed by a hellhound, which doesn't even kill you, it just literally makes it so you've never existed. Like, he is completely gone. There is no afterlife version for him, like there's no ghost of him. He has just been wiped out entirely. However, they do mention, and I was like, okay, why are you saying this? There is one thing that can survive being eaten by a hellhound, and that is a demon. So I'm like, is Darlington a demon? Because is he really dead? I don't know. I mean, it seems like the whole book is over. We figured everything out, but there's still 50 pages left, and I have no idea what happens in these last 50 pages. So I'll update you in a bit. I just finished Ninth House, and holy crap, the twists and turns that were in the last 50 pages felt like I was getting whiplash. Jeez. So basically, the last 50 pages started with Alex kind of receding into herself and isolating herself at a safe house, but her roommates find her and they bring her mom out, and so her roommates and her mom kind of coax her back out into the world. But when she's back out in the world, she's realizing that things are not how they seem, and she finds a coin of compulsion at the place where Blake was trying to kill her, and she realizes that Blake was being controlled by somebody when he was trying to kill Alex. And so it was not Blake that was trying to kill her, it was someone else. And she starts putting things together, and she realizes that Dean Sandoff, the dean that's in charge of House Lethe, part of House Lethe, seems to be possibly involved, and the ghost North gives Alex a bunch of dates, and Alex does some research about the dates, and she's realizing that on these dates, a girl has been murdered on the same day that the secret societies at Yale University are putting in bids for like new tombs. So basically a new tomb gets built after there's a magic awakening in the earth. It's called a nexus. And that's how the houses can be really, really powerful. So there's like the main 4 houses, and they're the main 4 because they have tombs with these magical awakenings, and the magical awakenings directly correspond with a woman being murdered. And so Alex is realizing that these are linked and a woman is being murdered for these secret societies, and she thinks that Dean Sandoff was trying to murder Tara in order to open up a new nexus for a new tomb to be built. So she goes to confront him at this party that he has, and she's planning on recording him, and he admits to everything. And basically the 2 students that she thought was involved, they are not involved. Blake was an asshole, like, right? He's a serial rapist, but he just wasn't in charge when he was murdering Tara and trying to murder Alex. That wasn't him. He was being controlled. But like, we're not sad about his death because he was in control of himself when he was sexually abusing tons of women on campus. But the 2 other students that were involved in the drug trade were not aware of the murders. They were not trying to kill Alex. They were not aware of the rapes. Actually, the whole time it was Dean Sandoff trying to kill Alex and trying to kill Darlington. So that's one thing that he admits to when he's confronted, is he knew that Darlington was researching all of the ways to create a nexus, and he thinks Darlington was putting it together, so he is the one that summoned the Hellhound to eat Darlington and kill Darlington. Right when he has admitted to all of this, and he's basically like, so what are you gonna do, Alex? You have no power here. There's nothing you can do. Alex's English professor, who has been in the story a little bit so far, but not a ton, and to Alex's knowledge at this point, the English professor is just a normal person. She's just trying to help Alex get through the semester because Alex's grades aren't great. But then the professor comes in and she starts spouting all this knowledge, and both Alex and the dean are like, who the hell are you? Like, what the heck? And it turns out she is like the true villain here. I mean, there's lots of villains here, but she's like the big bad guy, and she has been scouting out Alex for a while because she is this almost immortal monster that can consume souls, and to consume Alex's soul would grant her many, many more decades of life because she is like Alex. Alex also has this ability, and in a big twist, this professor is actually the same original soul as Daisy, who is the ghost that Alex has been working with, fiance that the ghost killed. So Daisy is actually the one that accidentally pushed the ghost that possessed North back in the 1800s. And so it's actually Daisy's fault that North killed her because North was possessed by a ghost that Daisy put into him. And so she is like really sad that she lost her body, so she just steals someone else's body. And all the girls that have died up until this point to create these nexus points for the tombs are actually just her stealing their soul. So it's not the girls' murders that creates the nexus point, it's the English professor taking the soul that creates the nexus point. Hence why the dean of Lethe House was unsuccessful in creating a new nexus point. and therefore like he murdered Tara for no reason because he completely misinterpreted what was happening throughout history. And so then the professor kills the dean, the English professor kills the dean, and then goes after Alex, trying to take Alex's soul to give her another like 60 years of life. But Alex pulls all of the greys, all of the ghosts that are in the whole city to her, and Alex, along with all of the ghosts, are able to overpower the English professor, and Alex basically sets all of the souls free that the English professor ate. Another end twist we're left with is Alex realizing that a lot of the ghosts told her when she was in the other world, and then when she pulled all the ghosts to her, that there's a gentleman demon that is in hell, and it's Darlington. And so he is alive. He was a demon. I knew that was coming, and he didn't get erased when the hellhound ate him, and he's just stuck in hell. So she kind of Alex brings in Dawes and Michelle, who was part of Lethe House, but she is now graduated. She's alumni, but she brings in Michelle because she used to be part of Lethe House. And they're basically like, okay, guys, let's go to hell. We got to rescue Darlington. And that's how the book ends. So I'm so excited for Hellbent. Now I understand the name more, Hellbent. I completely forgot they're trying to go to hell, but I'm excited to see what hell is like, because that seems so cool. And what a twisty ending. What a great ending. I'm such a huge fan. And it's so cool that Alex does have the ability to create nexus points if she consumes someone's soul, which is a big deal. That is one thing she kept a secret from the Magic Societies, because she didn't trust them with that information, basically. That brings me to the end of this video. Thank you all for going through this journey of rereading Ninth House with me. This is very much an experimental video. I don't know if I'll do a video like this again. So let me know in the comments if you liked this type of video. I hope this video ends up being useful. Again, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video, and please like this video and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.